Hi, I'm Dr. Sharwana Davis, a psychotherapist. And one of the questions that I often get is, what are the signs of a toxic relationship? So, a toxic relationship can consist of many factors. There can be codependency, there are trauma bonds, there are just a whole host of things that could be present. But here are some signs across all those spectrums of toxicity that I generally see. So, number one, there is a lack of safety in the relationship. And that is because these types of relationships typically are filled with extreme emotional responses. So, an extreme high or low in terms of the emotional volatility found in the relationship. And as a result, the parties typically don't feel safe with each other. Number two, there is this feeling of abandonment, either by one party in the relationship or both. And typically, that is a response that is rooted in attachment styles. So, experiences of attachment during early childhood normally ends up showing up in these types of relationships where the person doesn't just fear breaking up, but it's true to its core a fear of abandonment. So, in that regard, it's quite primal in terms of the wounds that get opened up. And then there's number three, there's typically a lack of boundaries in the relationship. So there's a lack of physical boundaries, a lack of emotional boundaries, psychological, and even financial boundaries in the relationship. And that contributes to that sense of safety that's not present as well. So that's another factor. Then, of course, there is that codependency where the person or both parties are overly involved in each other's lives to the sacrifice of their own personal perspective. So they're overly consumed with what the other person is thinking and feeling. And there's no room for their own thoughts because they're so consumed with that other person. And then the final one is the relationship is stifling growth in terms of personal growth, right? So relationships are a space and a place where both parties are free to grow together and also grow individually. And so when that growth is stifled, that's another sign that the relationship could have some toxicity inside. So, hopefully, this gave you some food for thought in terms of things to consider or reflect upon. All of these things are something that you don't want to take in isolation. You want to consider all factors, but these are just some of the things that contribute to the toxicity in relationships. I hope this helps. Let me know your thoughts, or are there other topics that you want to be covered? I'd love to hear that in the comments. Thanks so much. And remember, you deserve peace of mind.